look at things that stimulate all 5 senses. Screens only do 2, seeing and hearing, right? You want your children to touch things, to put things in their mouths, because that's how they're going to learn and develop those other parts of their brains. And the importance of that is, let me show you blocks, right? Your children, at this age, babies, they're looking at blocks. They're looking at a cylinder. They're rolling it, they're tasting it, they're smelling it. They're just rolling it, right? They're experiencing the properties of the cylinder. So that when they're in grade 8, math, right? They know, in grade 8 they do translations, right? So they know by experience that will this roll, will it slide, will it flip, right? And they can draw back on their earlier experiences playing with brain neurons. And most of these brain cells are just sitting there, not connected to each other, except for a few that keep the heart and lungs going and keep them alive and breathing. So as soon as a baby's born, what happens is that their experiences, so the moment they open their eyes, they look around, they feel the warmth of their parents, they hear music, they can touch things, their brain cells start connecting. And what they do is, brain cells have axons and little dendrites. And what they do is they send neurotransmitters over pathways which are not connected in between the dendrites and the axons. So what sends those neurotransmitters over? It's experiences, okay? And most babies and toddlers, well, all of them actually, experience their world through 5 senses. Do you know which ones they are? Okay.
Taste, smell, sounds,
Sight. Okay, so the eyes, the ears, the mouth, the touch, and the nose, right? All 5 senses. This is a brain. So the brain develops usually from the back, up, through the back, and to the front. The last part of the brain is the prefrontal cortex, and that keeps on developing until the child is actually 25 years old. Okay? We should raise the age of adulthood in Alberta. Like, we have 22-year-olds out there making bad decisions. But that's what it is. So it's continually developing through experience. Now, I'll tell you, and please pass it on to someone who's not holding a baby. But when you catch the brain, stand up and give us your birth date, okay? And then throw the brain to someone else. Okay, ready? Oh, Josh. That's okay.
Josh, stand up and say your birth date.
August 8th, 2002.
Okay, now just toss it gently to someone.
May 12th, 1972.
July 2nd.
July 31st.
January 28th, 1991. August 20th, 1981. October 26th, 1987.
Thank you. Now, this is how your brain works. It makes pathways every time you hear language or you do experiences involving all 5 senses. So the pathways that are used the most often get strengthened. So here's my little paper point. So this is at birth. This is at 6. Now why we say the first 3 years last forever is because that is the prime years that all those pathways are going to develop the most. It's just, the brain is full of pathways because they're experiencing so much through all their senses. And by about 6, it starts to prove those pathways that are not used as much. So for example, if a child is no longer hearing French language, the brain will prune those pathways and strengthen the ones that they are using, like screen time. Now, screen time includes TV, movies, DVD, video games, computers, cell phones, iPads, anything that's electronic, okay? Does anyone know the recommendations of time for kids under 2? Zero. Basically, all of us live in two worlds. That's okay, I'm just short. We live in the physical world and we live in the virtual world, okay? So for children 0 to 2, Canadian Pediatric Society, Public Health Agency, most of the health organizations across North America recommend no screen time, okay? All their time should be spent in the physical world. For ages 2 to 5, that's preschoolers, 1 hour a day screen time. For ages school age, 6 to 12, about 2 hours a day screen time. And then 13 plus, there's no recommendations. Now I put the little 6 here, less than 6, because they're trying to determine what exactly is too much screen time. What's internet addiction? What's texting addiction? In parts of the world like China, they say if you spend more than 6 hours on a toddler's brain is more active than a college student. True or false? Which is false.
False is up. False is up.
Did I say true standing up?
Yeah. False standing up.
We really don't need technology. We as parents need the technology because it makes our life easier. But what's the smartest, best toy for a baby and a toddler? Parents.